I have been working for almost 2 years in a professional speaking program. I love professional speaking. And so I decided I needed to really suit up and level up. And I enrolled in a course with Heroic Public Speaking, first doing their graduate program and then going on to the fellowship program. And it has been life changing, phenomenal. I'm speaking with huge corporations and organizations at a national level, international level, and it's been deeply rewarding because I need to magnify the message that self-care isn't selfish, it's your duty. And this is the way that I can get this platform, this bigger audience to change minds, disrupt our thinking about self-care. So when I ask myself, what do I need in order to do that? I need to level up. I need to master the skill and the craft of speaking. So this has been quite a journey for me and deeply rewarding, and it's been during COVID. So I have done a ton of presentations virtually, but live presentations have been minimal. I think just actually one recently, very recently, last week. And I have been doing everything virtual, which allows me to be able to refer to my speech readily. But here I am live. And so I have been rehearsing and practicing and memorizing. But the fact is, I didn't feel super confident that I was going to memorize and deliver every point. And I wasn't ready to let go of some of these points that I want to share because I thought, what if that one person needs to hear that one point that I have been refining for months now, for over a year, refining this message, editing this message, curating and collating this message I want to share with the world. And if I have to rely on my memory right now in this moment, I will miss something. And I wasn't comfortable with it. So I'm in the green room waiting to go onto the stage and really took a deep breath. This is real. This is how we bring self-care into the real. What do I need? That's a question we don't ask ourselves. And I ask in my planner so that every day you're asking that question because it's not something, it's so foreign to us to ask about our own needs. Often we think to have needs is to be needy, and to be needy is to be weak, and we got shit to do. So we have to check in with ourselves. What do I need? And the answer came to me. And by the way, the answer will often not be convenient. It won't be glamorous. It won't often be what you want to hear, but it is what you need. And that is legitimate. Our needs are legitimate. When I asked myself that question and I felt myself getting anxious, when I asked myself, well, what is it that I actually need? The answer became clear. What I need is to have the script there. I'm going to go on the podium. My ego was like, oh, no, you're not. No, 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 no. That's not what we do. That's not what you've been training for. All these stories came up. And I just took a deep breath and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that to myself. I'm not going to do that to the audience. It is so important for me to be grounded and prepared and thoughtful and responsive. And if I am more distracted by, oh my God, what if I miss that point? Oh my gosh, what happens next? What's the next point, etc., then I will do a disservice, not only to the audience that is here to hear my message, um, but to myself, that I was betraying the true mission. I was being inauthentic. So I had to shut that ego piece down. It doesn't belong in the work that I'm doing. This is work of service. And I need to make sure that I'm tending to myself in the process so that I can be the voice I need to be, so that I can carry the message that needs to be heard. So that's what I did. And that was an act of radical self care. It was a little uncomfortable initially to be able to say, yeah, I need to take the safer route. But you know what? Like, screw wuss. I've lived my whole life like, oh, don't be a wuss, right? Yeah, we need to let that go. Those are old stories that don't belong anymore. So, what I did is take care of myself. And sometimes our needs are going to inconvenience others. Sometimes they're going to inconvenience us. And they're often going to challenge our ego and the old stories that we've been carrying along. So, what is your be real moment where you had a choice, where you could have abandoned yourself because you know that path well, you know how to neglect your needs, not show interest in them, and to just overcompensate and overfunction for everybody else, but underperform for yourself? What was that moment where you didn't choose that path, but instead you chose to show up for yourself, to have your own back? And what did that feel like? I have to tell you, no regrets. No regrets. I learned so much in that moment where I put my self care before my ego. my self-care before all those old stories that kept me stuck. I expect to be nervous before I speak. I love that. If I don't have the butterflies, I'm being complacent. I want the butterflies there as an indication that I am like I'm there, game on, right? But I want them flying in formation. I don't want them running the show, and I don't want them fly. I need them flying in formation. And when I took that moment to step back and say, what do I need? Then I was able to reconnect with myself and validate that wisdom that was already there, and then do my best, my absolute best in that moment. And I want to ask you to ask yourself, what do I need? And then sit in the discomfort long enough to hear the answer. And then the next step, and this may take time, it takes practice, it's a muscle we haven't used. The next step is to actually implement it, to honor and validate what you learn by doing it. And that is how we repair the relationship with ourselves, where we actually start trusting ourselves again. So be real.